Hey, oh my goodness. I want to start just diving right on in. Just diving right on in. A business can look successful and still not be structured profitably. A business can look successful and still not be structured profitably. And I know this firsthand, not secondhand, but firsthand. Because yeah, a lot of you know my story. You know I've built businesses over the last what seems like forever. But I've also not done so well, right? I've also been very successful scaling businesses, to $750,000 annually and then losing everything, right? So I know this more than anything. And so when I'm looking at your business, there's a couple of things that I'm looking for first. There's a couple of things that I'm going to look for first. So I want to start and say something that I think a lot of entrepreneurs do not hear enough. You just don't hear it enough that a business can look successful and still not be structured properly. Because you can have clients, you can have revenue, you can have visibility, you can have growth, and still not be keeping enough money for the business to properly sustain your life and lifestyle. And what happens for most entrepreneurs immediately assume when that happens, it's, oh, I need more clients, or I need another offer, or I need to work harder. And that can't be further from the truth, actually. But that's not the first thing that I look at. And so a lot of businesses do not have a revenue problem first. And that's what most people get confused. They feel like, oh, I know it's got to be a revenue problem. Oftentimes it's not. They have a clarity problem first. And so in the comments, you can be honest because listen, there's a safe space and there's no judgment. I wish somebody would judge somebody in my community, right? But have you ever looked at your business and thought to yourself, I'm working too hard for what I'm actually keeping? I know. I I know I have, right? But when entrepreneurs think about profitability, they usually jump straight to more sales, more marketing, more visibility. But that is not where I start because more revenue does not automatically fix weak structure. In fact, more revenue just compounds the weak structure, making it even more heavy. And what happens when it's heavy? It breaks. And if your structure is unclear, scaling often increases pressure faster than the profit. And if you're increasing revenue without reviewing your structure, you're not just growing your business, you're also increasing the workload required to maintain it. So yes, your numbers are growing. Yes, you're getting more revenue. All of those things are true, but you are also putting more pressure. You're also making your business and putting your business in a space where it's heavier than it needs to be, and you're going to be stressed out more. Your focus is not going to be focused on the revenue generating activities because a lot of the other things in your business are going to be consuming your time, and those things matter. So when I review a business, I'm looking for patterns first. Erica, what? Yes, I'm looking for patterns first. I want to understand where money is going. I want to understand what's consuming your time, what's reducing your margins, what's creating operational pressure, and what decisions are quietly affecting profitability. It's not what you think because hidden profit issues are usually not dramatic. They usually don't, do the I'm coming out kind of thing. That's not usually how it works. They're usually repetitive. Most profit problems are not created by one massive mistake. Yes, we have all seen business owners make a huge mistake and profitability in business tanks. Yes, that absolutely happens. But for most entrepreneurs, that is not the case. For most entrepreneurs, it's the consistency, right? And it's not that massive mistake. It's usually created by small decisions that's repeated consistently. Usually that. And those things can look like underpricing, over delivery, I'm not gonna lie to you. That's the one that get me because you want to deliver, you want to give everything, right? But you can't. You have to look at your numbers to understand what makes sense. Subscriptions that you never reviewed. Some of you are paying for subscriptions that you have never used that product or service, and you pay for that product or service every month, month after month, and it's like, hey, you're paying for it, but you never use it. And that money could be reallocated into something else that you could actually be using. It could be inefficient workflows. It could be consistently discounting. And that's a big one, especially for a lot of entrepreneurs. The first thing that we do is go in and discount. And that's not what you should do, right? You should add more value, but discounting not so much. And then poor boundaries around delivery. That's another one where I feel like, people are unclear about your delivery. And so what happens is now you feel rushed, which means you pay for things that at an exorbitant rate because you feel rushed. And now you're putting the product out there. But when you look at your profit margins, not so much. And individually, let's be clear, these things don't feel urgent. It's not like you like, oh my gosh, whoa, oh my goodness, my my over delivery is causing a problem. Most people don't see that. They definitely don't see that, right? But together, they slowly reduce profitability. One of the first questions I ask a couple of questions, but one of the first questions I ask is, where does the effort not match the return? Because that answer usually reveals where the business needs attention. And if someone is constantly busy, but still financially stressed, I immediately want to review a few things. Number one is going to be pricing. Because some of y'all out here, y'all are giving away the whole store, the everything because you're underpricing. And I've said this before, and I will say it again. A lot of times, if you're honest with yourself, you are literally stealing money out of your family's mouths because you're underpricing the market. Another one is margins. Understanding what those margins are or what they should be. Okay, time allocation. I want to see that. I want to see, where are you spending your time? And oftentimes, it's not in revenue generating activity. Oftentimes, that's not where you're spending your time. Operational inefficiencies. What's inefficient in your business? Because inefficiencies cost money every time. And delivery expectations, because a lot of times you have like delivery that's so fast and such a big turnaround, you have to pay way more money than you should or could because your expectations are not where they're supposed to be. Effort should eventually create stability. And if that's not the case, we definitely have to look at that. So if your business requires constant overextension just to maintain revenue, you're not just working hard, you're also operating inside a structure that is reducing your flexibility and financial ability. So you have to ask yourself, what feels the heaviest in your business right now? Is it pricing? Is it delivery? Is it operations? Is it time? Is it expenses? A lot of entrepreneurs miss these issues because they focus on visibility before profitability. Everybody wants to be seen. And I get it. We live in a world where that's a thing. But you want to be profitable, because if not, what are we doing? And unfortunately, they focus on looking successful, sounding successful, staying busy without fully reviewing what the business is actually producing financially. And just to keep it real, that is dangerous long term. It's dangerous. A business that looks successful externally can still feel financially unstable internally. Ask me how I know. Ask me how I know. I know because I've been there. I know because I've run businesses they look good. I was on everybody's everything. I was everywhere. I was at events. I was doing my own events. I was doing so many different things. I was writing books. I was doing everything, and the business wasn't stable. But that's because I didn't have clarity. I didn't understand my numbers. I was putting out way more money than I was bringing in. And I had this thought, oh, it takes money to make money. So I'm just going to continue of pouring money in. And it was like pouring money into a pitfall. Like, all because I look successful though. And that's a lot of times with entrepreneurs, that's the case. We look successful, but when we break down those numbers, not so much. So if you're focused more on growth than profitability, you're not just risking lower margins, you're also increasing the stress and long-term operational pressure. And when entrepreneurs finally review these areas honestly, things start changing quickly. And it's not because they all of a sudden work harder. That's not what happens, but it's because they start making better decisions. And this can look like adjusting your pricing, because for some of you, you need to raise those prices. Now, some of you, we got to change some value, but adjusting your prices, removing your unnecessary expenses, get rid of that stuff that you haven't used since the 70s, y'all. Simplifying your offers where people are clear on what it is that you offer, tightening operations, right? Restructuring your delivery, giving yourself some runway. Because some of you, it's turn around the next day and you're like, you got to do so much work. It's almost impossible. And then protecting your time more intentionally. Small adjustments often create larger financial shifts than people expect. And better decisions usually create more sustainable profit than more effort. We always talk about work hard, work smarter, not harder. And honestly, this is exactly why I created the hidden profit audit. That's exactly why I did it. Because eventually entrepreneurs stop needing, just general advice. They stop needing general advice, and that is a reality. Entrepreneurs need more focused advice, and they need direct clarity. The audit is where I review your business directly, like my eyes on your numbers. I look at where the profit is leaking, what's impacting your margin, what's increasing operational pressure, and what needs to be fixed first. Because sometimes it's like, you need to fix things, and you may even know what you need to fix, but it's like you don't know what to fix first. And so my eyes on your numbers will help you with that. And so be clear, like this isn't a generic training where it's a training for, everybody, because then, I have to do what's for the most part, for the most people. This is structured, strategic, and focused on you and your business. And if you continue making decisions without fully understanding what's impacting your profit, you're not just limiting your growth. You're also increasing the risk of building a business that becomes harder to sustain, which means you're going to do all this work to build up this business in blood, sweat, tears. I know, I've been there. And it's not going to be sustainable, which means a collapse. So if this felt familiar to you, if your business is making money but not supporting you the way it should, you can start with the hidden profit audit. You can go to gpsnextstep.com. I'll try to put that in the comments. gpsnextstep.com. Let's see if I can play nice. Okay, maybe not. I don't know why I keep trying to do that. gpsnextstep.com will get you your audit. Make sure, and previously, before the audit even happens, I'm going to send you some stuff for you to work through so that you can give me the information for your business. I will analyze that information, and then I will send you a full audit, a full one-way audit. You'll know what to do, when to do, how to do it. And if you want to begin, reviewing your numbers yourself first, because you're like, Erica, I just want to do it myself first, then you can also get the 30-day hidden profit kickstart workbook, and all you have to do is comment workbook, and I definitely will get that on to you. And so just remember, a profitable business is not just one that generates revenue. It's one that creates sustainability, clarity, and support the person who's actually running it, not everybody else. One of the things that I told a young lady that I was working with, I was like, you're running this business, but you're running this business to support everyone else but you. Because when she looked at the numbers and saw what she was actually bringing home, she wasn't able to support herself on those numbers. The reality is that her business was supporting everybody else, team and apps and, systems, and everybody was getting money but her. And we wanted to change that, and we absolutely did. And if your business is not supporting you yet, that's not something to ignore. That's definitely something that you need to review. So as I always say, it's not about the revenue you generate. It's all about the profit that you get to keep. My name is Erica Lane. I am the Chief Profit Officer here at Global Profit Solutions, where we help entrepreneurs like you find a hidden profit in your business, price with power. Yes, price with power, and make data-backed decisions with facts, not feelings. Make sure you share this content and this conversation with an entrepreneur who needs it. And if you're ready for clarity, I'll see you inside the audit.